Hey, what's up, and welcome back to another episode of The Straight Shooter Recruiter. My name is Emily Durham. I'm a senior recruiter by day and podcast host by night, and my goal is to help you thrive in your 9 to 5 and beyond. If you're watching this in video format, either on YouTube or on Spotify, yeah, we're in bed today. And what about it? It's a cozy winter night, and I'm kind of loving the fact that I can just fully record from bed. It is what it is, and if you like the setup, let me know. I can't imagine that you do. It's literally just my bedroom, and I live in Toronto, which means it's the size of a shoebox. But today's episode, wow, what an intro, man. We were just talking. So everyone knows we're in a recession, or we're about to be. They haven't formally announced it, but we're as good as recession, I think, as it gets. It's also significantly impacting the job market. And if you're confused about what that means, I've got a video right up here you can check out where I explain what's happening in the job market and how that's ultimately going to impact your job search, things like promotion, salary increases, all of those good things. But I wanted to spend a second on the kinds of questions I think you should be asking in interviews in light of the current environment we're in. There are some questions I've already shared across all of my channels that I know will be helpful and are definitely still relevant, but there are a few I really think are high value to be asking in this kind of economic turmoil. Before we get into it, please make sure you've subscribed either to my YouTube channel or to the podcast if you're listening. Please leave a rating and a review. If you're on YouTube, hit me in those comments, give me a like. It genuinely helps me understand what content is and is not helpful for you. Now, first things first, it is so unbelievably important to have questions at the end of the interview ready to go. It's a great way to show that you're interested in the role. It's a great way to show that you've, prepared adequately. And it's a fantastic way to stand out, especially if you're asking those powerful, punchy questions. There are some bangers I always endorse, including things like, what has kept you at this company for so long? What's something your team is working on that you're really excited about? Or do you have any reservations about me as a candidate? Those are all absolute fire. However, the kinds of questions I'm giving you today are more thinking about how you can protect yourself and suss out companies that are probably not doing as well as we'd hoped that they'd be doing in light of the economic situation. First things first, I want you to be very aware of the fact that some companies that are still hiring right now might be entering a season of layoffs in Q1 of 2023. So that's January heading into April. A lot of them are still actively hiring, but things might change. There might be turns in the economy that impact how much they're able to keep those recent hires. Doesn't mean that every company who's hiring is going to end up firing you. That's 1,000% not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to do a lot of research on the financial health of these companies to ensure that you are really walking into a situation that's going to be healthy and helpful for you. Good questions to ask are this. How is this company thinking about, future proofing, especially in light of the upcoming recession? How does this company think about staying competitive when we know there's so much innovation in certain industries? As your organization operated through COVID, what were some of the things you did to ensure that you were able to avoid things like layoffs or massive cutbacks? You can also straight up just ask what job security looks like in this role, and you're basically asking all of those same things. Employers are most certainly looking at your Instagram. Why the fuck aren't you creeping them back? Go look up their financial statement. Are they going to survive the recession? I'm talking look up their name on Reddit and see what employees are actually saying about them. Do adequate research to help inform your questions in case you don't want to use any of these, but you still feel like there's information missing in the process for you. I would also ask what their plans are for return to office. A lot of companies, look at the Twitters and the Shopifys, who previously claimed they were going to be 100% remote, are now asking employees to come back for a minimum of 4 days a week. I actually might be misspeaking on Shopify. Is it Shopify or Spotify that did that? It might be Spotify. I always get those two confused, but correct me in the comments. I think it might be Spotify now that I'm saying it out loud. But in any case, a lot of companies that previously declared they were 100% remote now suddenly want you to come in the office. What the fuck is that about? Because a lot of these companies, and I could go on a rant about this, and this could be a whole other episode and probably will be, a lot of these companies wanted to capitalize off of people working from home during the pandemic, and now that the pandemic, effectively speaking, is over, they're comfortable having people come back in the office, but nobody wants to come. Work-life balance is better for most people when they work from home, but organizations are still paying for this office space. in comes these mandates to return to work. It's like a very crappy business practice, if you ask me. So if you're not in the mood to be blindsided 6 months from now, I would definitely be asking what their return to office plans look like and if they anticipate any changes. It's also always a good idea to ask about promotions and compensation, especially in times like this. You can ask what the promotions process looks like at your company or what career growth looks like at your company, and make sure you're specifically referencing this year. Some companies are going to be going on pause for things like promotions or raises. That's one of the ways they're going to look to save money as we head into a recession. So be very thoughtful about how they're answering that question. And if you're hearing things like, yeah, well, we do have a process, it's a little different every year and this year is a little tricky, what they're probably saying is, girl, you're not getting a promotion this year. I'm so tired of the misconception that you shouldn't ask questions in interviews. Interviews are like dates. There are two people in that conversation, both of which need to feel good about the decision to move forward. You need to be interviewing the company just as much, if not more, than how much they're interviewing you. This episode was short and sweet, just like me. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a rating and a review, and if there are topics you want me to cover, hit me in the comments. That's an amazing place for me to pick up on the things that you need. Thank you, and I'll talk to you next week.